All right, thank you, Matt. Our top story this morning, the votes are in. Thousands of voters made their way to the polls and decided on many key races.
So let's start with the most expensive U.S. House primary in history. Ed Gallrein defeated Thomas Massie in the Republican primary for the 4th Congressional District. Gallrein got 55% of the vote with over 57,000 votes, and Thomas Massie got 45% with just over 47,000. At his victory speech, Gallrein said his win was more than just a personal victory.
The winner of the race tonight is not so much Ed Gallrein. I'll come back to that. But it's the Republicans of Kentucky Congressional District 4 and their families who I will be a champion for in Washington.
People that want somebody that'll go along to get along. I've never heard of that strategy, but that seems to be what the voters want. That's what's been promised to them, but not to young voters. I mean, we stirred up something. There is a yearning in this country for somebody who will vote for principles over party. It started out as an election, and it turned into a movement.
President Trump was brief, but he did have some comments on Massie's loss. Take a listen.
We won the Massie thing. He was a bad guy. He deserves to lose. Thank you very much, everybody.
Gallrein will face the Democratic nominee Melissa Claire Strange for a seat in the U.S. House. Strange won with 72% of the vote against Jesse Russell Brewer.
Now to the race to replace Senator Mitch McConnell. Trump-backed Republican Andy Barr won over Daniel Cameron. Barr had 60% of the vote. Cameron had 30% as well.
And Barr will take on the Democratic nominee, progressive Democrat Charles Booker, who won the Democratic primary with 47% of the vote. Amy McGrath came in second with 36%. And Booker is coming in as the underdog after his close race.
Meanwhile, Trump heavily influenced the Republican primary. Earlier this month, Trump endorsed Andy Barr, who almost beat Daniel Cameron in double digits in last night's race. Good morning, Kentuckiana anchor Jim Stratman has a closer look at the results. Now, Jim, this was a runaway for Barr, but not too many people were surprised about that.
No, Gabe, once Nate Morris dropped out of this race to take a position with the Trump administration through his backing behind Andy Barr, it really became less of a question about who would actually win this and just how big that win might be. And you can see it was a fairly sizable win right here. Andy Barr, 60.5% of the votes last night, absolutely pulling the entire state. Daniel Cameron only got 4 counties out of the entire state of Kentucky. Those were his home county of Hardin County, neighboring LaRue, also up here in Trimble, and then Oldham counties as well. Now, again, this was a runaway for Andy Barr. He did thank the president during his speech last night for all the help and the endorsement that he got on the campaign trail.
Thank you, Mr. President, for your powerful support. I look forward to fighting alongside you to advance our America First agenda.
Meanwhile, Daniel Cameron appeared on stage with his wife, Mackenzie, just before 8 o'clock last night. He was surrounded by supporters in LaGrange as his campaign came to an end. And this is, of course, his second straight election loss. Cameron reflected on that afterwards.
I tell people all the time, this is the greatest country on earth. To have opportunities that are based on perseverance, grit, determination, merit, opportunity. This is a pretty amazing place.
Barr will face off against Democratic nominee Charles Booker in November, who you can see here won this a bit of a margin here between Booker and McGrath, but it's actually a lot closer than I think the numbers might play out here. Booker, of course, dominating in the urban areas of Kentucky, over here in Lexington, Louisville, even to a lesser extent down here in Bowling Green. But McGrath really did pull for most of the other counties here in Kentucky. And when we take a look at the heat map here on the screen, you'll see that those 2 counties, Fayette and Jefferson, did numbers for Booker in this election. But McGrath was very strong throughout the rest of the state, especially in the far west. And that's where Booker is going to have to start picking up votes as we head closer to November. I'll show this to you one more time. This is Andy Barr's heat map throughout the entire state, very populated over in these parts of the state that Amy McGrath ended up winning. So could mean that Booker has some work to do as we head towards November. Gabe, Casey?